They don't have like a third nipple or something, you know what I mean?
That we know about.
That we know about.
Yeah. No, I agree.
Would you date a guy with a third nipple?
I mean, there's so many fish in the sea.
Like, why not choose one that doesn't have a
Yeah,
third
you
nipple?
know, just keep that moving.
Welcome back to Drinks After Work with Abby and Shannon, where we give you that after work energy and talk about everything other than work, baby.
Woo! Welcome
whoa.
back. I think my constant plugging our socials finally worked because we finally hit 2K on Insta.
Yes.
But if you're new here, follow us on Instagram. It's at drinksafterwork_, TikTok at drinksafterwork, no underscore. And if you're a Boston baddie, if you are a girl and you live in the Boston area and you're looking for new friends, you're looking for new restaurants and bars to try, join our private Facebook group, link in bio, or just search Drinks After Work Boston Baddies on Facebook.
Yeah, honestly, it's becoming so fun because there's like this whole community of people in the Boston area now, like a community of girls. And whether you're on our Facebook page or, you know, just on Insta, or on Insta, we have people sliding into our DMs all the time asking us where to grab drinks, where to go, who to talk to, where all the cute boys are. We know the answers to some of those things.
Most of them.
It's been a while since I've seen a cute boy out and about, but if I do see one, I'll send them you guys' way. But if you haven't already seen it, every single week we release something we call Sip and Dip. So if you're new here, that is where we go around to different bars and restaurants in the Boston area, try some of their drinks. We vlog about it and tell you guys how our experience was. So look out for that, especially if you're new to the Boston area and are looking for somewhere to grab drinks.
Yeah, last week we went to committee, so that will be coming out this week. So keep an eye out because it was a good time.
It was so fun. It's actually a little bit too much fun.
I think we had a little bit too much fun. We ended up at one of our bosses, Kyle's apartment after. He lives at where actually I'm not gonna tell you where he lives. It doesn't matter. He lives in a nice
in an undisclosed location
building in the seaport, and
I'm like, is it sketchy to say where someone lives that they live in like a building where there's like thousands of people?
Right, and also there's security.
True.
But like, you know, for the sake of we don't know who's listening, so.
True, you never know who's out there.
We had ourselves a night, so keep an eye out for that. And let us know where you guys want us to go to Sip and Dip. We'll go to Lolita eventually, I promise.
Yeah, when we can get a reservation in 8 to 10 business weeks.
Speaking of Lolita, it must be popping today because it is Cinco de frickin' mayonnaise.
Woo! I didn't expect mayonnaise. I was like, Cinco de mayonnaise. Okay, it makes sense. I got it.
Yeah,
I got it.
No, what is it? Cinco de mayo? I don't know how to pronounce it, so I went with mayonnaise.
I like it. I like the little improv you did there. It's cute. Honestly, I love Cinco de Mayo. So fun.
Well, I freaking love Mexican food and tequila, so sign me up.
I know. By the time this podcast comes out, I will be in Charlotte in North Carolina. So
I forgot you're leaving me.
Yeah, I'll be celebrating Cinco down there. I'm actually going for work, so hopefully.
Would you look at that? Work trips, business trips are back, baby.
Yeah, we're back and better than ever.
How long are you leaving me for?
Just like 2 days.
Okay,
I'll be back.
Good.
I'll be back before you know it.
Good.
Okay, let's dive into drunk deeds. How come I always say dive? Like, why do we have to dive into drunk deeds? Why can't we just talk about them?
Skipping or frolicking.
Yeah, or twirl. Let's twirl.
Let's twirl this week.
Let's twirl. Let's twirl.
Deeds. What do you have?
I don't have anything.
That's not even remotely true.
Okay, so a Los Angeles restaurant worker is rating celebrities based on how nice or rude they are, which I think is awesome because nothing makes me happier than seeing celebrities in their natural habitat. It's like you see them when they're on their vlogs.
Have you seen many?
What?
Have you seen many celebrities in their natural habitat?
Well, you know what I
haven't.
Well, no, you know what I mean though, like, or hearing about them in their natural habitat.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
I feel like there's like the face you put onto the world, and then there's who you actually are when you're hangry.
Yeah, because
like
everything on the internet is a lie.
Right, exactly. So like you see the David Dobrik apology video where he's crying, but it's like, well, what's he like in person? Like, is he tipping, 10%?
That is such a good question.
Yeah. So I feel like you see people when you're in the restaurant industry too, like at their worst because they're hangry.
Yeah.
And they're like tense,
they're
showing up to dinner.
Yeah.
I don't know.
They always say if you're on a date, like, notice how they treat the waiter, because how they treat the waiter is how they're going to treat you.
True. Just like how a guy treats you is, or how a guy treats his mom is how he's going to treat you.
Yep.
Yes. Exactly.
Same goes for the waiter.
Okay. So basically this girl was on TikTok because apparently that's where everything is created these days. And she's a former restaurant worker. Her name is Brooke Schofield. And she shared like 3 different videos about celebrities that she encountered at this really fancy Los Angeles restaurant. So she actually had more positive things to say than negative, which I kind of made me a little happy because I was expecting the worst.
Thank God.
So one of them was Kylie Jenner. She rated her 20 out of 10.
Okay.
She said that she was a sweet little angel. She was super nice. She looked perfect, everything like that, which I was pleasantly surprised by.
Like she looked the same in person.
Yes, she's really, really pretty. Drake also a 20 out of 10. She said that he tipped $5,000 on a $150 tab. Which is imagine.
Wait. Say that again.
He tipped $5,000 on a $150 tab.
Are you sure it wasn't the opposite?
No. That's why you got a 20 out of 10.
Jesus.
Right? I know. Imagine being the waiter that night and you get $5,000. That's insane.
You don't think she like did something for him in the back?
I don't think so. Are
you sure?
No, I think that's just like maybe. I feel like if I was that rich.
Where does she work?
I know. I feel like if I was that rich, I would totally like every now and then be like, you know what? Tonight's the night. I'm just going to tip $5,000. Why not?
Yes. However, the rich stay rich by being cheap.
Yeah, but I don't think Drake is cheap.
Yeah, Drake's not worried about that. You're right.
Okay. Justin and Hailey also get really high ratings, I guess.
Really?
Yeah. They appear to be very much in love, and they're really, really pleasant and cute and sweet to her, she said. So
I've heard Hailey can be kind of a bitch in person, and like kind of like, especially like she can kind of get territorial and jealous of Justin in public. Yeah, that's what I've heard. Yeah,
I didn't know that. Well, I like love her, so I feel like she can do no wrong in my eyes, but that could be true.
You're love blind.
I would get territorial of Justin as well. I'd be like, who the hell do you think they are? And he's like, babe, she's 12, she's fan. I'm like, get her out of my sight, bitch.
Yeah, but if you were able to lock down Justin Bieber, I don't really think you have anything to worry about. You know, especially if you look like Hailey Bieber. Honestly, I say that, but then like all these like cheating rumors come out about celebrities. Shut up.
No, I know what you mean. I think it's just like whenever there's like so much spotlight on one person or either person, like there's gonna be issues. Like I don't know. Like we talked about that with Chance.
Who do you think is more famous, Justin or Hailey?
Justin.
Really?
Yes, by far. Think about like how many. Yes, by far more famous. That was actually one of like the controversies of their marriage. Is everyone's like, he's not making her sign a prenup, and he's worth like way more money. I don't think so. That was like one of. I mean, unless he did after the fact, but he's worth way more than her. He's way more famous. Like she's using him for clout, which like is kind of like messed up to say. It's like they've been married.
I heard he kind of treats her like shit. So
I don't know. I don't know if I believe that. But again, maybe I'm love blind. We'll never know.
We'll never know.
I'm Justin and Hailey stan, so what can I say? Because I believe in true love. Anyways, Zac Efron. So I guess he was. So because of this is actually probably my favorite story. So he was, I think, in the midst of The Greatest Showman. So he had like a full blown lumberjack beard when he came in, and I guess
told you he's not as cute anymore. We talked about Zac Efron last week.
But I think he was like in character. Like he was like supposed to look different. But okay, I get what you're saying. You don't think he's
I just want Troy Bolton back.
I understand. I know you want the 16-year-old version. We totally get that.
Oh, come on. Don't put those words into my mouth.
Abby's like, I just loved him when he was 16.
I'm going to Google how old he was when he was Troy Bolton because you're making me feel uncomfortable. Anyways, did he tip well or not?
Dave Portnoy have a lot in common.
Well or not?
Okay, so it wasn't about the tip. So I guess he came in, but because he was like in character, he had like a full like huge beard, one of her coworkers didn't recognize him. So she just like sat him at the bar like a peasant, and I guess he didn't mind at all, and he just like went happily to the bar.
Was he by himself?
Yeah, he just, or I don't know, like maybe he was with someone, but like he was like, all right, cool, and went over to the bar, which I thought was so cute because I could see so many actors, especially freaking Zac Efron, be like well, no, I'm Zac Efron. Like,
right. They'd be like, no,
give me
I want
that
the
table.
best table. With
and
the
obviously
best
they would give it to him. They'd be like, yeah, oh my gosh, Zac, like you can have like my firstborn, like whatever you want. But
maybe he went in disguise. I could see him like going in with like a hat and sunglasses. Yeah. And like try to be low key.
I just like love when I hear stories about celebrities acting normal and they're like, yeah, I was at the bar. Like, I'm just a human.
They're so normal. They just have a shit ton of money and like severe ego issues. But other than that, they're normal.
So normal. I feel like if Zac Efron walked into my bar, though, I'd be like, honey, you can sit wherever you want.
You can sit in my lap.
You can sit on my lap. Okay. And then there was a bunch more that I didn't have time to get to. But Leo, she gave him a 0 out of 10.
Leonardo DiCaprio?
Leonardo DiCaprio.
Is that who you're talking about?
Don't disrespect Leo like that, Abby. Come on.
Are you talking about the Wolf on Wall Street?
I'm talking about the Wolf of Wall Street.
Wow.
She gave him a 0 out of 10, but not for a reason that you may think. She said that she walked by his table 40 times in hopes that he would ask her to be his girlfriend, and he didn't, so that's why he got a 0. I know. When I first saw it, I was like, Leo isn't nice, and then I read that, and I was like, oh, okay. I would do the same. Okay, but the really interesting thing, so there was a few people on there that didn't get good ratings, and one of them was Addison Rae's mom. Like, she wasn't nice. I guess she was like super rude.
That doesn't surprise me.
You know what's interesting though is all of the bigger name celebrities were nicer, and some of the ones
because Addison Rae's mom is literally just that. Addison Rae's mom. She's a nobody.
Yeah, but like, why would she be the bitchy one?
Because she like has this new like she's literally living vicariously through her daughter, trying to pick up as much clout as she can while she's still relevant. So she's like not actually I wouldn't call her a celebrity. So she probably has this wicked big ego and thinks that she can like demand everything and like get whatever she wants, when in reality like she needs a reality check.
I was also thinking about it and
to be canceled.
True. But I was also thinking about it and I was like, you know what is interesting is I almost wonder if like fame is one of those things that like you have to kind of mature in. You know what I mean?
Slowly.
Well, think about like we all hated Justin Bieber like 10 years ago when he first became famous and he was an asshole. But now it's like everyone's like, oh my gosh, Justin, he's like the best person ever. Like he's so cute. He had a whole like 180 of his life and now he's all great. I feel like so many celebrities go through that. And I'm not calling Addison Rae's mom a celebrity, but I thought it was interesting how the people I didn't really recognize as much were the ones that like got a lower rating, but the like Kylie Jenners of the world did really well.
Maybe one day we'll be in their shoes and we'll see. But
I don't know. I feel like if I was like Ariana Grande, I'd walk in. I'd be like, do you know who the hell I am? Just kidding. I would never do that.
No.
I don't think I ever would. Okay.
I have a drunk tea.
You do? About whom?
So... Dave Portnoy has a girlfriend.
Shocker. I mean, no, shocker that you're talking about Dave Portnoy, not that he has a girlfriend.
That's it. That's the news.
That's it. That's all you came up with.
He has a girlfriend. He's off the market. I don't want to talk about it.
Wait, they're official?
No. Okay. So.
A fish?
Instagram a fish.
Oh, really? I didn't know that.
Yeah. Well, so I've known about Silvana.
I know, because you randomly pull up her Instagram and you're like, what do you think? And I'm like, I mean, she's really pretty. You're like, I know.
So she's like a Colombian model, whatever. Well, so she's like our age or whatever. I couldn't really confirm an exact age. I could guess, but she's like just like this social media marketing assistant for this clothing company in Miami, and she's an absolute smoke show. So props to Portnoy. But you know, I've known about her for a couple months and I was like, whatever, it's just another girl that he's, you know, banging. Whatever, she's irrelevant. It's just one of the many. But this past weekend was the Kentucky Derby, and for those of you that know anything about the Kentucky Derby, I feel like it's a very elite like event.
Yeah, what do you know about the Kentucky Derby?
I know absolutely nothing. All I know is that it has to do with horses and there is lots of betting, but I think the Kentucky Derby I think the Kentucky Derby is one of those things where it's like on everyone's bucket list. Like,
yes, it's on mine.
Yeah, it's on mine. Do I really care about horses? No.
I don't like when they like whip them. I think it's mean. I almost started crying during the Kentucky Derby and everyone was like, shut up this past weekend.
Yeah, literally. So, I just think it's on everyone's bucket list, and he goes every single year and he brings his best friend Elio. I don't know if I'm pronouncing it right, whatever. He brings his best friend Elio every single year, but this year he brought her
Silvana.
too.
Wow.
And that's like a big deal. Like, I don't think like so like I was like, okay, I saw her a couple weeks ago at the Good Time Hotel. Like
She's from Miami.
They took a picture together at the grand opening at Dave Gartman's new hotel in Miami, and I was like, oh wow, like okay, like they took a picture together, like, and they both like posted it, like, all right, cool, like it must be a little bit more serious than I thought. It's fine. And then I found out that he brought her to the Kentucky Derby, and I was like, oh my God, this is very serious. And then after the weekend, so I started following her when she had like 10,000 followers.
Okay.
The second I found out that she existed, I was like, follow. Since this weekend, she gained 15,000 followers. Oh. She now has like 25,000.
Like, wow, that imagine like being that girl and all of a sudden it's like you're like an average 10K and all of a sudden it's like I feel like that would give me anxiety, like having that many follower requests, you know.
Well, she's public, so she didn't have to manually accept them.
I know, but I feel like even seeing them, I'd be like, I get anxiety when I see like a decent amount of people follow me.
Yeah, no, I know. Every time we post a TikTok, I'm like, like, all right. But so people are saying like they've been talking since like March, but I did some digging and that's just not true.
Abby, if you ever want to change in careers, I feel like I could see you being like a PI.
A private investigator?
Yes.
Honestly, yeah.
You honestly like some of the stuff that you figure out, even about me, like I'll like send you a picture of myself like in bed, like making a silly face, and you're like, the other day I was going home to visit my mom, and I told you I was like taking the train, and I like, took a selfie and sent it to you, and you were like, oh my gosh, you're on the bus, you're on public transportation, like blah 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 blah. And I was like, how the hell did you know that? Like you just like figure shit out. I'm like, okay. I'm
just very observant. However, it really was not that hard. Homegirl has a whole Nantucket like highlight reel on her Instagram. And if anyone knows, he has a house in Nantucket that he shares with his wife, Renee. But she posted 42 weeks ago. Do the math. I'm no mathematician.
Remember when you asked me and I said it was 3 months? And you were like,
times 2. Like it's like roughly
I know,
like this
I don't know.
past summer.
I was just like, I think I was just throwing you out a random like number just to get you to stop.
Hey.
I'm kidding.
I knew you weren't right, but like I still didn't know the answer. So I was like, no, it was definitely this past summer. She literally posted this past summer, like this past July at his Nantucket house. I know that Nantucket house. I know that backyard. I know that pool. She was there. They've been talking for a lot longer than people realize, but I do think that they've been just more serious. Like he even talked about her on one of his shows, the Dave Portnoy show, that podcast. He talked about her on that, which is just like, I mean.
So what do you think?
If it can't be me, I'm glad it's her. However, I have one question, and did he pay for her boobs? I need to know.
Well, how long ago did she get them?
So
how do you not know the answer? I mean, I feel like you know everything else about this poor girl.
Well, I did go through every single one of her pictures to try to like find out when exactly.
Oh, you do that too? Like I look back and I'm like, when was the moment that it happened?
When a girl in my town got a boob job, I was like, wait, when did these appear? Like, let me scroll back real quick. No, I couldn't pinpoint the exact month that she got them, but like they are relatively new. Like she hasn't always had the perfect set of boobs, but I just want to know if he paid for them.
Why?
Like I'm sure I don't.
Is that like a make or break for you? Like if he did, you're like, all right, that's it. Like they're serious.
I guess, yeah. I mean, like obviously he has more money to blow than like God knows, but I mean to buy someone a boob job, like I don't know.
Yeah. I don't know. I always think that he's one of those people that's going to be like a lifelong bachelor and that's kind of it. You know what I mean?
Honestly, I'm hoping that when the time comes for him to settle down, I do think he'll get back with Renee.
Me too. I do. I think that's why they haven't gotten a divorce.
Yeah, well, who knows?
Like, why else wouldn't they? Like, it doesn't make sense not to get divorced.
Yeah.
But speaking of people that haven't even gotten to get to one divorce yet, so this past weekend, we were sitting down. Or I actually went to this like kind of quasi college reunion. It was
quasi.
It was like a college reunion.
What does that mean?
I don't know.
You're using fancy words and I can't keep up.
I just like was at a friend from college's birthday.
Okay.
And a bunch of us from college were there. But it wasn't like supposed to be a reunion. We were just all together. I don't know. I feel like that's quasi.
I don't know what that means.
I don't either, but it felt right. It felt right coming out of my mouth. Why is that not okay to say?
I don't know. I just felt dumb for not knowing what you meant.
No, I feel dumb now. But I always feel dumb. This is my
Do you want to talk about it? You want to drink about it?
It's my constant state. Stupid.
Shannen stupid Katenji.
Shannen stupid Katenji. Anyways, so I feel like every single one of our guy friends, for the most part, are single. Like, so many of them are single.
Oh, yeah.
Like, all. And whenever my parents are like, when are you getting married? I'm like, you don't understand. Like, all of my friends are single. Like, it's like, we're the only ones in relationships.
When you and Michael get married, you're going to be the first in the friend group.
I don't know. Maybe. Unless it's one of those, like, quick...
Boom, boom, boom. Everyone gets married.
Yeah.
Imagine I get married before you.
You probably will. But no, I feel like they're all single, but they're always, so like they're sitting there and they're always bitching about, they're like, we want to find a girlfriend. Why don't we have a girlfriend? Like freaking out about it. But what I've noticed is that they're always talking to girls. Always. Like they're always, like I'm with them, and I mean, the two worst, let's call them, the ones that we always reference. We actually wanted them to come on the show tonight, but
and they said
they were like, we don't want to blow our cover. Like every girl in Boston's gonna think we're assholes, blah blah blah. But let's call them.
Yeah, let's just save them the heartbreak and just put it out there.
Let's call them Mac and Chad. Mac and Chad.
Mac and Chad.
Couple of classic, Southie boys who are always talking to girls. They're always texting them. They're always on like Hinge, Bumble, whatever, like going on dates and stuff. But they've like never secured a girlfriend. And it's weird.
See, I would love to be on a fly on a wall in those texting
conversations.
Yeah. Or like on their dates. Like, is it them or is it the girl?
Well, that's the weird thing. Cause it's not like they're like, oh, I don't want a relationship. Like they definitely do. But they
really, you think?
I mean, maybe they're just saying that maybe they actually don't want one. I don't know. Or maybe like they think they do, but deep down they don't. But they always say they're like, oh yeah, like I want a girlfriend, ha ha ha. And they're normal. Like they have good jobs. Like I feel like they live in Southie. They do fun things. They go on vacation. Like they're like, I feel like dateable guys. Like they're not.
Yeah, absolutely.
They don't have like a third nipple or something. You know what I mean?
That we know about.
That we know about.
Yeah. No, I agree.
Would you date a guy with a third nipple?
I mean, there's so many fish in the sea.
Like, why not choose one that doesn't have a nipple?
Just keep that moving.
That's a good point. Like, chances are you're gonna find someone else that doesn't have okay.
I mean, I'm not like
opposed. Okay.
I don't know.
Think about it. Let me know.
To check off every box.
We'll put a poll up and ask you guys if you would date a guy with a third nipple
or a girl with a third
and
nipple.
we'll report back. But yeah, no, I mean, honestly, they're always like talking about this. And then we also feel like on the flip side, there's so many girls that we're friends with who are beautiful. They have good jobs. They're fun, hardworking. Like,
and you're like, why are you single?
Yes, and they're constantly talking about like, oh, like this guy ghosted me or this guy stopped talking to me. And it's like, well, where the hell is the disconnect? Because there's all these great guys, all these great girls, and apparently they don't seem to meet each other. And they're always complaining about how like they can't meet anyone in the city. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So we were like, let's sit down with our guy friends and like ask them like what the hell's good.
Yeah, we couldn't get them on the show, but we had to do some
recon.
Yeah, we had to dig their brains a little bit so that we had something for the Boston baddies to, ponder and simmer and do with it what you will.
Exactly. So basically, if you're listening to this and you're talking to a guy that won't commit to you, won't bring you home to meet the family, won't take the next step and ask you to be exclusive, but you guys have been seeing each other for a while, maybe you're making one of these mistakes. So what do you think were like the biggest ones we talked about?
I think being too clingy.
Yes.
Is huge.
Yes, that's
Guys
huge.
Hate clingy.
Yeah. So our guy friends that we sat down with and we were asking them these questions, clingy came up like almost number one. And then we asked you guys like on Instagram, we took like a poll and some of these answers are from that. A lot of guys on there said too clingy as well.
Yeah.
I feel like that's huge.
It's interesting because I feel like it's definitely situational. I think it depends on the guy because I remember when Mr. Man and I first started talking, it might have been like the third time that him and I hung out alone, and I warned him. I was like, hey, like I just want to warn you, like, I'm kind of clingy.
You are kind of clingy in like an endearing way.
Yeah.
But here's the thing. You guys were friends first. You were friends for like 6 months before that. So he got to know you, you know what I mean? Versus like, imagine you just met him and boom, you're that clingy. Like that might be a turn off.
Yeah. And I think like there's levels to being clingy.
Yeah. I mean, I don't like guys who are clingy. Like I think it's annoying as hell.
I'm not like the type of clingy where like I'm constantly blowing up your phone, like wanting to know where you are. I'm just like physically clingy, if that makes sense.
Right. Like quality time.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. I get that. Okay. Another one they said was like the girl changed. So I think
did they just stop pretending?
Yeah, that's the thing. They're like, oh, the girl changed. And I'm like, no, she didn't change. She was like that the whole time. And we've all been there where you meet a guy and you come off like so cool. You're like, yeah, I love the Bruins and I'm so chill and like, oh yeah, I'm totally fine hanging with your, kicking it with your friends. It's kicking it, it's still a thing. But then like you go on like a few dates with her, you're seeing each other for a few months and all of a sudden she's not that cool anymore. And she starts acting like a crazy person. And it's like, no, she was always crazy.
See, the key is to be crazy from day one.
Yeah, so they know what they're getting themselves into.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Agreed. Okay, the next was not on the same vibe. So basically what he was saying was like, I'm relatively like a pretty chill, like cheerful person. And he's like, if I'm dating someone that is like kind of just like a downer and negative, like he's like, I just cannot do that. Eventually I'll reach my breaking point.
I think there's like a fine line between that because to a degree opposites do attract. Mm-hmm. But at the same time, like if this person is just a Debbie Downer, like no one wants to be around a Debbie Downer. Mm-hmm. Like honestly, I would consider myself more of a pessimistic person. Whereas like Mr. Man isn't. I feel like he's way more optimistic than I am. And like anytime like I'm like venting him about something going on in my life, he's like, no, it's fine. Everything's gonna be fine, blah, blah, blah. And I like generally believe that he means that. But like to me, I'm like, no, the world is ending. Like da da da. Everything is like the end of the world.
It's like a little dramatic.
Yeah, I'm dramatic. But I think like if you're just not on the same vibe, like literally, I think like vibrations like are legit real. Mm-hmm. Like I think if you are on different wavelengths, like it's just not gonna work out.
That's so true. Like there's some people you just vibe with. Mm-hmm. Like there's been guys I've been on dates with where they were attractive, charming.
Yeah, like on paper they're good.
Yes, like everything, like good job, a good family, well read, well traveled. But yeah, no chemistry. And I'm like,
there's
what
nothing in common.
And like there should be though. And I'm like, wait a second.
You want there to be, but don't force it. You can't.
That's why I hate dating apps because you don't know. Like you could literally match with someone and you could be like stay up till 3 a.m. talking to them, thinking like, oh my gosh, we have everything in common. Like this is it. You can meet them in person and there could be nothing there. And then you sit through the rest of the date being like, what? Like when can I get out of this situation? Yeah. But yeah.
Okay, I know one thing that is like a huge turn off for guys is like dating a girl that's insecure. Yeah. And or jealous. Mm-hmm. If you're both, you're fucked. And you need to like, honestly, if you are the insecure jealous type, you need to take a break from dating and work on yourself.
And figure out why. Right.
And figure out why and like get to the root of the problem because you're never not going to be insecure or jealous. Like it's not like Prince Charming is going to walk into your life and all of your insecurities and jealousy is going to go out the door. Like it's something you have to actively work on. Mm-hmm.
Also, like if you're a jealous person, you could be dating the most stable person in the world, but like you will find something to be jealous about or insecure about. Like it's not like you're like, oh, well, I just have to date someone that like doesn't go to, parties with
or
hot girls.
But
like, it's like, no, like he's going to do something eventually that's going to make you jealous.
And like, I think a little bit of jealousy in a relationship is okay. Mm-hmm. Like I think everyone deep down is a tiny bit insecure and a tiny bit jealous.
Right.
But when it starts to, reflect too often in a relationship, that's when guys are like, nah, I'm out.
Well, we're also not even talking about relationships right now. We're talking about when you're dating, right? So I also think like being jealous, like have I ever been jealous in my relationship? Like obviously, you know what I mean? There's been times when I've been like drunk with jealousy, but Michael and I have been together for years. So like that's normal. But I think that like if this is wondering like, okay, like why aren't I getting progressed to the next stage? Like why am I dating this guy and like he's not willing to like make things exclusive with me?
Yeah.
I think it's like if it's been only a few months and you're already acting jealous and insecure. And by the way, even if you think you're hiding it, you're not. Like guys can pick up on vibes.
Yep.
So little things like it's fine or
like,
have
are you
fun.
making an effort with his girlfriends? Like, is he introducing you to his friends that are girls, and you have like a little puss on your face? Like, meh.
True.
Like, he's gonna notice that. He's gonna take a mental note, and he's be like, all right, if I can't bring her around my girlfriends, then
I'm not gonna bring her around my family.
I'm not gonna bring her around my family. What is she gonna get mad at my cousin?
So true.
What is she gonna get mad at my sister?
That is actually huge. That's like one of the main things that they were talking about. They were like, if I bring the girl around like my roommates or like someone like super random and they're already acting weird, in my mind I'm like instantly like, okay, I can't bring this girl around anyone else. So if you are talking to a guy and like you've maybe made a bad impression on someone like super early on, and that now you're realizing that he's not inviting you around his friends or his family or his girlfriends, and you're like, well, what the hell?
It's something you did.
It's probably something you did early on.
And if honestly, if you mess up once, okay, like it's not the end of the world, but you have to make up for it the next time if there is a next time. Like if you're lucky enough to get a next time, you better freaking turn on a happy face and suck it up and be the nicest, happiest girl in the room, because I know from experience that they won't put up with that.
Right. Exactly. And also like, I think even if the guy isn't like ready for a relationship or isn't ready for commitment, or there's other issues with the relationship, if you can show up to a meeting with his friends and you can be like so fun, so cool, like excited to be there, and like people like you, he's likely gonna invite you around again. Like there's a really, really high chance, because even if like he's not ready for commitment, like there's still probably a part of him that's like, okay, this girl is chill and cool and like fun to hang out with, like I'm gonna invite her around again. So
right. And the difference between guys and girls, this is a huge one. And we kind of talked about it on a previous episode. But when a girl doesn't, okay, so like, for instance, let's say like you were dating someone and you introduced me to him and I didn't like him. You're still going to date him no matter what. Mm-hmm. However, if a guy introduces a girl to his friends and the friends don't like you,
oh, you're done.
You're done, because those friends will not let that guy continue on. Like they will bully him until like no other, and he will stop talking to you because of the feedback from his friends.
Mm-hmm. It's hoes before, or bros before hoes for a reason.
Yeah, it's not
and as much as girls try to do like the whole like, oh, hoes before bros, like it's not, unfortunately. Yeah. Like I've always had to accept the fact that like Michael will put his friends first. That's always how it's been. Yeah. Like when we first met, he was like, just so you know, I'm a guy's guy. I roll with the boys.
Until like you're married to someone, I kind of agree, because at the end of the day, like you don't know if someone's gonna break up with you one day, like, and if they do and you have no friends left because you put your bro before your hoe. If you put your hoes last and you put your dude before them, mm-hmm. if he breaks up with you and you have no one, that's on you.
Yeah.
So until you get that ring,
yeah, girls first, or friends first.
Tread lightly.
Which we talked about a few episodes ago. If you haven't listened to it already, go listen to it. But yeah, no, I 100% agree. And I also think it just goes back to the fact that girls, like when you get into a relationship with a guy, and I might be making huge gender like stigmatisms right now, but I don't really give a shit. I feel like as a girl, it's more normal to feel like, okay, like I love this person and they are now my whole world, and you get like a sense of like being from them. Like they give you like a feeling of like who you are, if that makes sense, versus mm-hmm. I feel like guys, I don't really hear about them doing that as much. Like I feel like a guy doesn't start dating a girl and think like, okay, like she, like I get my identity like from her, from being her boyfriend. But I feel like I know a lot of girls who start dating a guy and they feel like they almost like get their identity from their boyfriend. So I feel like that's part of it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, you're so
I feel like guys do that maybe later on, like in marriage or something. But I feel like in the beginning, it's like his world and she's just kind of living in it.
Yeah, what is this saying? It's like girls fall faster, but guys fall harder.
Exactly.
Like it takes a while for guys to fall, but once they fall hard. But girls will fall way much faster.
Exactly. Okay, another thing that they were saying was just like a classic was not wifey material. Like if you're not wifey material.
Honestly, that's so fair, because if you don't see a future with someone, if you don't, honestly, like, and I think like there comes a point in your life where it's like, all right, we're in like our mid to late 20s now. If you're dating someone and you don't see them as marriage material, if like you can't honestly say like, I want this person to be my husband, I want this person to be the father of my children. No, I know it sounds crazy, but it's so true.
I know.
Because
I was just thinking about like dating a guy for a few weeks and thinking like, I want this guy to be the father of my children.
No. Well,
I know what you mean though. I know
obviously
what you mean.
You have to like get to know someone and date them first. But like, honestly, like if you're like a year into a relationship and you don't see a future with them, then you have to, as much as they make you happy, like you have to call it quits, because if you don't see a long-term future with them, then what are you doing? Exactly. You're literally just wasting time.
Exactly. No,
because we're not getting any younger.
We are not getting any younger, even though like I definitely try every single day to look younger. But no, I 100% agree with you. I think like, I don't know, with this one, it's tough because it's kind of, I don't know. I think that I could see two sides to it, because it's also what type of vibes is the guy putting out? Because if he is just like talking to this girl and like always like reaches out to her like to go drinking and to hook up and like go out with her guy friends, and then he's like, oh well, she's not wifey material. It's like, well, you're not really putting her in wifey environments,
right?
Like, have you gotten to know her? Have you taken her on a date? Have you like tried to have a real conversation with her? But I also do agree with the point of like, I think our society kind of stresses girls to be like, it's like this whole thing where it's like, you're a badass bitch, like take shit from no man, like whatever. And I feel like that might work to an extent, but then I also do think that like deep down from like a like deep level, like where the it is in your brain or whatever, like guys still look for a girl that shows like motherly traits and like caring traits and like empathetic traits. Like that's things that matter to them when they're looking for a girlfriend. So if you're not interested in dating someone, that might not matter. But if you're kind of giving off like the vibes of like, yeah, I don't care about being in a relationship and like I'll do what I want, like whatever, like a guy might talk to you and think you're really fun, but they're probably not going to pursue you as a girlfriend.
Yeah. Wait, that's literally so true, because I feel like I, in the past, would make the mistake of like having too much of a tough exterior, and like I wouldn't, because I'd be like, no, like guys are trash. Like I'm not gonna like let them break down my walls. Like I'm not gonna show like the really like caring like side of myself. But it's like you're almost doing yourself a disservice by not.
Right.
Because then they're going to be like, all right, well, she's just like,
she's not the type of girl
like,
that you marry.
Yeah, exactly.
Right. Exactly. What's interesting is it works for guys. Like if a guy comes off as really tough and you to break down those walls, as a girl, we're like, oh my gosh, like I want to break down those walls and I want to find the like sensitive side of him.
Guys are like, I'm not breaking down shit. I'm going to go knock on the next door. Bye.
Exactly. Like, all right, well, this girl was fun, but she's someone else's problem. So I'm going to go.
Literally.
I'm going to go find someone else. Abby, is it frowned upon to expect a guy to groom himself?
I'm going to go with no.
I feel like the answer should be no, but you would think otherwise, considering so many guys. I feel like they don't give a shit what's going on down there, what's going on in their ears and their nose,
and that's why they're gonna die alone, unless they get manscaped. And you know, we're here today to offer you guys something we like to call the Weed Whacker.
Ooh, tell us more.
So the premium Manscaped Weed Whacker uses 9,000 RPM motor-powered 360-degree rotary dual-blade system. It's making whacking your weeds a time to look forward to and not a time to dread.
Yes, absolutely. I don't know. I definitely think that if my 8th grade boyfriend was allowed to make fun of the fact that I had prickly leg hair, then our 25-year-old selves can comment when a guy doesn't take time to do anything more than use a bar of soap in the shower. So head over to manscaped.com. You can shop their wide array of products that can make you look really nice from head to toe, and use code BIGNIGHT for 20% off your order and free shipping.
Hell yes, man. Look good, feel good, do good, and Manscaped wants to help. So, like Shannon said, head over to manscaped.com. Get your Weed Whacker, get your performance package, tag us, tag Manscaped. Let's get after it. It's time to spring clean.
Yes, and you can just let us know how thankful you are when you don't have to sleep on the couch anymore.
I think another thing that guys pick up on too is they can like sense if you want them too much and if you're like obsessed. So true. Even if you're like not even doing anything that crazy, I feel like they just know. They do. They know. And it makes them like not want to like do whatever it is that you, they're almost like, oh, I know she wants me a lot, so I'm just gonna like back away. I think they do it on purpose though. I do too. I think they're like messing with us. Honestly, I would love to be in a guy's brain for just one day. Just for a day.
I feel like it's always the guys that like I was talking to and was like Googling them on the internet and like, what does it mean when he like says my name with a weird like slur at the end, and, like looking for these weird signs. Like it never worked out with those people because I think I was like obsessing over them. And even if I wasn't being crazy like via text or like I wasn't being clingy in terms of like, oh my gosh, like want to hang out later, want to do this, want to do that. Even if I wasn't doing those things, I think that it's just like a weird vibe. Like they could just like tell.
I think it's because guys are just so simple. Like they're like, guys are like, okay, 2 + 2 = 4.
Right.
And girls are like, okay, but 1 + 2 - 1 + 2 = 4.
Right.
Like they have to make everything so much more complicated than it is. And then guys are just like, nah, like this girl's a little bit clingy. She's a little bit too obsessed with me. This is kind of boring. There's no chase. I'm just going to move on.
No, I
But
agree.
girls are like, oh, he's not showing me enough attention. Well, let me just like act this way so that he wants me more. Like, let me try to like win his approval, like win his love. And ultimately it doesn't work.
Right.
You just drive them away.
Because I also feel like when we try to win a guy's love, like because we're like, okay, like this is it. Like he's the full package. He's everything I want. You might actually even like, I feel like half the time we don't even like the boy.
No.
Like I feel like whenever this shit has happened to me in the past where I've like obsessed over a guy, I didn't even actually like him. I just was obsessed with the idea of him.
Yeah.
So you're almost like so obsessed with the idea of someone and you're like, it's gonna work out between us. And I feel like it's just so fake because you're like chasing something that's not real and you're probably also acting not like yourself because you're just trying to live up to this like image of like what you think he wants, and it's just not gonna work out. Like there's gonna come a point when it's like either there's nothing really there between you that's substantial, or he's gonna realize you're being fake as hell. Like something is not gonna work out.
Yeah. I think it took me a long time to realize that it shouldn't be so complicated. And if he wanted to, he would. If you want to, then just do it. The right guys will stick around and they'll like you for who you are. And the wrong guys, you know, they'll weed them. Like let the trash take themselves out, you know?
True.
It doesn't need to be so difficult. Like I think like there comes a point where you realize that the games are not getting you anywhere in life and you just stop playing them. And, you know, I think girls are like, oh, like, should I text him first? Like,
right.
Should I do this? Should I do that? And I'm like, well, what do you want to do?
Well, I also think like it sounds so cheesy, but like you just said, everyone's always like, be yourself. Well, you really should, because if you're not being yourself, like eventually it's like, what are you planning on marrying someone that like you're not being yourself around? Like that's freaking exhausting. Like have you ever tried to be friends with like a group of girls that you just did not fit in with? Like they just were not your group of girls. Like maybe they were into different things or they had like different, like, I don't even know. Like they were just like not your type of people.
Yeah.
You always feel like you're like exhausted, like trying to fit in and trying to be cool and trying to be like part of something. But it's like maybe they're just not your people. And like that's okay.
And maybe he's not the one for you. And that's okay.
And it's like if you're just yourself, like you're gonna have guys reject you and like that's gonna hurt. But ultimately, like, if you're just like putting yourself out there and you're literally being like exactly who you are, you're gonna meet someone that likes who you are, which again sounds so cheesy, but I feel like that's true.
No, it is. And it's so hard to like, I know like people listening, like especially ones that are maybe single and like bitter about it, they're like, meh, meh, meh. But it's so much easier said than done. But once you find someone that actually likes you for who you are and you realize that it's actually so easy, you'll be like, oh, so this is what has been different the whole time. This is what I've been missing the whole time.
Right. Exactly. No, and I think like the last one that like, which was kind of like a big one, is pressuring the guy.
Yeah.
Like pressuring him to date, pressuring him to, meet your family, or pressuring him to take you home to meet, like just like making him feel like, okay, well, when are we going to take the next step? When are you going to meet your girlfriend? And I feel like we just said, when you do that, I feel like it makes a guy kind of want to do those things less.
I 100% agree. But like literally, I remember waiting to go from being exclusive to like girlfriend. And like sometimes guys are stupid and they don't realize that like, no, you have to ask me to be your girlfriend.
I feel like that's a gray area. I don't know if the ask is a thing. Do you think it is? Is the ask important to you?
I I mean, like, I don't need like a grand gesture, like, oh, like, will you be my girlfriend? But like, if you don't like actually like, DTR, define the relationship, like, cause you could like think that you're exclusive with someone, or like even dating or whatever. But I feel like so many people have different ideas and beliefs onto like what is exclusive.
Right.
So if you don't actually have that conversation, like you could think you're exclusive with someone. You could be like, oh, like I hang out with this person all the time. Like they don't even have time to like date someone else, see someone else, sleep with someone else. But unless you like have that conversation, like
they might be.
And I know so many girls that it's happened to. Mm-hmm. And it's like they find out that the guy that they've been sleeping with is sleeping with other people. And like, they're like, well, what do you mean? Like, we're not official. We're not exclusive. Like the guy thinks like, because they didn't DTR, like that it's okay.
So true. But then it's like such a fine line because you don't want to be the girl that's hounding him.
Right.
But then you also don't want to be so chill to the point where it's like, well, is he seeing other girls?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I feel like that's so tough.
Yeah. I think, yeah, you're right. There's a gray area and a very, very, very fine line. But I do know that men don't do well under pressure.
No.
And you forcing them to do something will just make them run.
Yeah. No, I agree. So like, what do you think? Okay, so even like going way, way, way back. So like right where we're talking right now about like a few months in, but like go back to the very beginning. What do you think about girls making the first move? Like whether like in person, like you're at a bar, like do you think guys like it when girls make the first move? Because I know that's like a highly debated topic right now. Like girls making the first move.
Well, right now in COVID, no one's making the first move.
No one's making any move.
Everyone's like, are you afraid of COVID or not? But I think before COVID, I think like every girl like wishes that they could be the girl that like goes up to the hot guy in the bar and is like, hey, like honestly, I don't even know what the hell I would say. Like I don't know where I was going with that because
hey,
I've never been that girl, never will be that girl. I've never made the first move, so I honestly don't. I don't know, but I feel like some guys would love it and some guys would hate it.
Yeah. So interesting because I was actually asking my guy friends about this because I feel like I listen to so many podcasts these days that are all about like female positivity and, you know, whatever.
Empowerment.
All that junk. Good junk, but junk. And they're always like, you should make the first move. You should put yourself out there. Guys love it. Guys are all about it. But I asked my guy friends, it was actually very, very mixed. So this is interesting, and they had a totally different perspective that I didn't even think about. So some of my guy friends were like, yes, I think if a girl makes the first move, it can be hot and I can be all about it. But they were also like, you know what? It depends on the situation. It depends on the girl. So I guess if you go up to a guy like in a bar and you're very forward and you're like, my name is Svetlana. I'm 25. What?
Silvana.
No, my alter ego is Svetlana.
I know. I'm just still bitter.
Still bitter. You're like, I'm 25, and you're like, here's my number or whatever. You do like something to come on to him. They were like, I would probably go out with the girl. I would probably like, maybe text her and stuff, but I would probably not date her. Which I was interested by, and I was like, why not? Like, why wouldn't you like a girl that could put herself out there? And they were like, well, a few things. So first off, they're like, I would probably assume that she's slutty, which I don't think is really fair, because what if it was like a one-time thing, but whatever. That was honestly what they said. They were like, I would assume that like she maybe does this all the time. Which like, honestly, if you put that into like, if you reverse the roles, that's really shitty. Because if a guy comes up to you at a bar and like,
he's definitely done it a dozen million times.
Obviously he's done this before. Like that doesn't make.
But when a girl does it like once
it makes
or
her
twice,
slutty. Okay, I'm actually mad about that.
Yeah, no, get fucked. That's why you're single.
You know what? Freaking Chad and Mac. You guys are assholes, but we love you. But we love you. This is why they didn't come on the podcast, because they knew we would have just roasted them the whole time. But anyways, if you like, we're spitting like just honesty here and impartially. So they were like, I would assume the girl is probably slutty, and they were like, I'd probably, go out with her, but I wouldn't make her girlfriend material. The other one, which I thought was like also kind of mean, was they were like, I might think there's like something wrong with her. So like, I think this was Chad said this. So he was like, if a girl comes up to me at a bar, he's like, first off, I feel like the hottest girls aren't the ones that approach you, which I don't know if that's true or not, but he was like, I feel like the 10s aren't the ones approaching you because the 10s don't need to. So he was like, I feel like it's the like 2s and 3s that are like gonna come up to a girl, which
I would argue that because as much as guys can take rejection way better than a girl, I highly, highly, highly doubt most men have the balls to walk up to a 10. I feel like you have to be a 7 or below for a guy to walk up to.
Or also,
because aren't you intimidated by a 10?
I also feel like the 10s are the ones with the confidence. Like I feel like if you know you're like a hard 10,
but
and you have like a fresh pair of fake tits, you're like, yeah, I'm gonna walk over to the hell I want to walk up to. You know what I mean? But yeah. I don't even think it was about necessarily attractiveness. I think, and this actually kind of made sense the way he described it. So, have you ever had a guy that's like, it could be in like middle school or whatever in your life that was just like obsessed with you? Like he gets your number and he's texting you all the time. It's like paragraphs. You're not really answering. You send like back a text or two and he's just like texting. He's like, I want to hang out with you again. And he just won't stop. And like, he could be he could be working for Goldman and Sachs. He could be 6'2". He could, have a trust fund and a yacht. But like in your head, you're like, there has to be something wrong with him. Cause like, why is he so obsessed with me? I don't know. That's what happens to me. Like, I feel like it makes a guy like less attractive because it's like a weird, maybe it's like a personal issue. But I feel like if a guy like wants me that much or that early on, and I'm almost like, can you like not get anyone else? Like, why are you so obsessed with me? Like, that's weird as hell. And if a guy isn't as interested in me, I'm kind of like, ooh, like there's someone.
Yeah, you want the chase,
but
I think there's a difference between like having confidence to go up to someone in a bar and then like, once you do and you get her number and you go home, like, is she constantly blowing you up? Are you constantly blowing her phone up? I don't know. I think
he was just saying though, he was like, I feel like if a girl is like going up to me, it's like, is she not getting guys like approach her? So she needs to go approach a guy, which I think is completely wrong, by the way. I do think that a girl might just be like, I'm interested in that guy. I'm confident I'm going to go up to him, which I think is pretty hot. But yeah. I guess that was just kind of his take. And then the last one was like, they said, I feel like guys just like to chase. Like, I want to know that I can, meet a girl. Like, I went up, I pursued her, I texted her, I took her out on a date. I chased her down, like I lassoed her, I like hunted her down. Sounded like kind of aggressive.
It's a feeling of accomplishment. Like, they want to be able to be like, check.
Like, men want to conquer. You know what I mean? And that's why,
if you do the work for them, they're like, oh,
what's left to conquer?
Right.
Even like in a relationship for a while, like a man wants to feel like there's like something that they have to like earn and work for. Right. And that's why, like, as toxic as it is, like when you're talking to a guy, like the best thing you can do is just like disappear for a weekend and just kind of leave him with some breadcrumbs. Like maybe text him at like 2 a.m. and be like, text him at 2 a.m. and be like, back safe, XO, and like that's it for the weekend. And he's just like, where is she? Who is she with? And you're not posting a ton of like Instagram or Snapchats. You're just like, nothing. It's like, did she ever really exist?
Radio silence.
Make him wonder. Like, that's the best thing you can do because a guy wants to chase.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're just always out there, then
it sounds like there's no way to win.
I know.
You're damned if you do, damned if you don't.
I do think though, because I was asking them, I was like, okay, was there any way that a girl can make the first move? And they were like, I would be interested in a girl who like organically like, gave me her number in a way that was like not too forward, if that makes sense. They were like, if we were like at a table at the bar and like, I think this works if you're like in a group setting, but if there's like a table of girls or a table of guys, if you like send shots over to the guys or something, like that could be like a fun way to like start the conversation. That's not like so forward of like, hello, like here's my number. But it like does get their attention. It can get a conversation going.
I wish I had experience with this so that I could help you guys. But I am so socially awkward and I have resting bitch face. Hardly get approached. Like it that way.
I hardly get approached. And I don't want it to change.
And I like it that way.
Yeah, no, I mean, I think that it is tough because you're right. It's like damned if you do and damned if you don't. But I also think it's about like the first interaction, because we were talking about this too. Like that was about in person. Mm-hmm. But what about like texting? You know what I mean? Like, is it okay if girls initiate or send a first
I think
text?
At the beginning, and this is like going to be so like cliche, but I think in the beginning, no. Because I personally, if I if I were single and if I was texting a guy, like we were texting or whatever, and I wasn't sure about how he felt about me, I certainly would not be texting first because I would be wanting to see how interested is he in me.
Right.
Like, if he wants to, he will. I truly, 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 as cliche as it sounds and like whatever, I truly believe if a guy wants to, he will. He's not going to care how he looks. Like if he wants to go after something, he's going to go after it. And he doesn't care if like, you know, he took you out last night and he wants to text you the next day. He's not like texting his friends like, is it too soon to text her? Should I text her? What should I text her? Should I text her hi or should I text her hey? Like those are things that girls do. And I feel like guys just, they go after what they want. And if they want to, they will. And if they're not texting you, it's because they don't want to.
Yeah, that's so true.
Most of the time.
Like obviously there's some external factors, but I do agree with that. I think that, I'll never forget, and like not to make this like about me at all, but I remember that when Michael and I first met, we were freshmen in college, and he had told so I guess he had just gotten out of a relationship like a few months before that, like a really long-term relationship from high school. And he told his family, he was like, I do not want a girlfriend for at least like 2 years. He was like, I'm getting Invisalign. I'm getting an internship. He's like, I'm working on myself. I'm going to have fun with my friends in college. Like I am working on myself. I'm not getting into a relationship. And then him and I met, and he was like, Shannon, like as soon as I met you, like I was like, boom, done. Like I want to date this girl. Like that's it. And I just thought that was, and like, it's not to like toot my own horn at all, because I don't think I did anything that special. Especially because I was a drunken mess my freshman year of college. But I think,
look at you now.
I think that like the moral of the story was he was like, I wasn't in a place where I wanted a relationship, but like I decided like when I met the girl, why wouldn't I do it? Like I'm not going to pass up this opportunity.
Right.
You know what I mean? And I feel like I've met guys before that I was talking to, and they were like, oh, like I'm not in a place for a relationship, and they didn't try to make things work with me, and obviously that hurt like hell, but like I just wasn't ultimately what they were looking for. You know what I mean? And they just didn't. Right. Like if they weren't willing to commit to me, it wasn't about timing. It wasn't because they just got out of a relationship. It's just because like I wasn't it in that moment.
Right.
You know?
And I feel like so many girls take that so personally, but you shouldn't. Like there could be so many factors as to why he's not texting you. But, you know, I think proof is in the pudding. Like if you wait and you see how it plays out, you're going to see his intentions with you. If you don't text him first and you wait for him to text you, when is he texting you? What day of the week is he texting you? What time of day is he texting you?
Right.
Is he asking you to hang out the day of, or is he asking you a couple days in advance to hang out?
Right.
All those little things, when I was single, those were things that I overthink and I overanalyze everything,
right,
almost to an unhealthy amount. However, I think some girls are just some definitely are like myself where they overthink and they're like, no, I'm not going to text him first. Like, da, 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 da. But then there are some girls who they don't think of those things and they ignore those red flags. They text him first or whatever. And then they're surprised when he ghosts them.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, well, why are you really surprised? He hit you up at 10 p.m. on a Friday night. Like
guys also are so bad at confrontation. Like I don't know if anyone's ever watched Friends, but like there's some episodes where Chandler's talking to Jennifer Aniston's Rachel's boss, and they go on a date together, and he like does not like her after the date, and he goes, "This was fun. We should do it again." And so then like Rachel's boss expects another date, obviously, and Rachel's like, "Oh my God, you have to go on a date with her." And he's like, No, like that's just what you say. Like he's like, I told her I'd call, but like I won't call. But he ended up calling her because Rachel made him. And then he goes on a second date with her, and he's like trying not to say, "This is fun, we should do it again." But like he felt so pressured because he like felt so awkward that he ended up saying it anyways. And I feel like it's because guys are just like not confrontational. So if you're talking to a guy and like you're always texting him first, like, can we hang out? Can we do this? Like the guy's probably going to say yes. He's probably going to be like, yeah, like we'll hang out this weekend, or like, yeah, sure. But if he's actually not putting the effort in and not texting you first and not like making plans, like he doesn't actually want to be there. He's probably just doing it because he's like, oh yeah, whatever, I'll do it. But doesn't mean that he actually likes you.
I agree. If he wanted to, he would.
Exactly.
All right. Well, we honestly have so much more that we want to dive into this topic, and we'll save it for another episode because men are very interesting creatures.
Yes.
The male mind is something that we will continue to explore for you guys.
And never quite understand.
Yeah, we will never quite understand, but we'll do our best for you guys. And maybe next time we can convince our friends to come on.
Yeah.
Risk it for the biscuit. Come on, and you guys can hear it straight from their mouths.
Absolutely.
What to do, what not to do, and why the hell is he not?
Why is he not committing to you? And I know on this episode we made it seem like it was all your fault, and that was kind of intentional. But we are going to be covering in a future episode, when it's his fault, what he's doing wrong, all the shit that's going on in his mind, as well as roles reversed, things that guys do when they first start talking to a girl that turns girls off. So don't worry if you're a girl listening to this and you're like feeling personally victimized. I promise we will turn the tables around. Just some really quick stats before we end this. So, okay, so we put some polls up on our Instagram. I just wanted to share the results because we love getting you guys' feedback. We asked, so you've been going on a few dates with someone and you can tell that they're into you, but it's not going anywhere. Do you tell them the truth or slowly stop answering? I just wanted to give everyone a kudos because 63% of people said that they would tell the truth, and only 37% said that they would just stop answering, which I thought was kind of cool.
I don't buy that for a second.
The next one, I don't want to take the next step with the person I'm seeing because 46% said commitment issues and 54% said not the right person. So pretty much half and half there, which kind of makes sense. And then the last one that kind of made me a little bit happy was the pandemic / quarantine has, and 23% of people said made me settle, and 77% said raise my standards. Ooh. Which I think was cool because I was thinking about it.
Good for you guys raising your standards.
Right, but it's like we spent all this time alone, and I feel like the reason why you settle for someone is because you're scared of being alone.
But everyone's had to be alone.
You've had to be alone because of quarantine, so you're like, oh, hell yeah, I kind of enjoy, being by myself and, walking around my apartment naked with no one to care about. And you're like, I'm not going to get into a relationship unless the person's really great. So I liked that.
Wow, I'm so proud of you guys.
Growth, health, wellness.
I love that for you guys.
Easy breezy, beautiful.
Boston baddies.
Easy breezy, beautiful baddies.
Ooh. What is that commercial, L'Oreal?
Yeah.
Or is it Maybelline? We're coming for you.
Maybe it's Maybelline. Yeah. Okay.
Is it? I don't know.
All
right, guys. That's a wrap for episode 22. Before you go, if you didn't already know, because we hit 2K on Instagram, we are doing a merch giveaway.
Woo!
You see this sweatshirt?
Do you see it?
It could be yours. Just go to our Instagram. It's very, very easy to enter to win. There'll be one lucky winner that we will announce this time next week, next Wednesday. While you're there, follow us if you don't. Mm-hmm. You have to enter to win.
Yes, absolutely. Go follow us there. See what's in for our merch giveaway. And then over the next few weeks, we have some really fun things planned, fun guests that are going to be coming on. So thank you guys so much for listening to another episode. We will see you next week. And thank you so much for listening to episode 22. I don't know about you, but I'm feeling 22.
Happy Cinco de Mayo. Go drink lots of tequila. Make us proud. Ignore Shannon's horrible singing. We're never going to get a record deal now.
Send us your pictures of you drinking tequila. Bye, baddies.
Bye, guys.